is going to have the opportunity to be heard. At this time, I would like for everybody who's going to be providing testimony to please stand up, raise your right hand for the taking of your oath.
Your Honor, do you need us to stand up?
That's the protocol. I think so. Yeah, let's go ahead and just keep it traditional.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to provide is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
All right, let's get going. I like the half stand up. That worked too. With that, I'll ask the city to please call the first case.
Your Honor, Christy Gott on behalf of the City of Lake Worth Beach. Your Honor, we're here for one case today. It's a consideration for sale under the city's code for lien reductions. The case number are 13-303 and case number 10-1954. Your Honor, this case involves a property at 1 Lake Avenue in Lake Worth Beach, commonly known as the Gulfstream Hotel. The reason we've especially set this hearing today is because the settlement agreement is something that the city is very interested in and wants to pursue along with the parties here today in order to see the Gulfstream Hotel and the associated properties redeveloped and provide the city with a new destination hotel in downtown Lake Worth Beach. The associated properties are 12 South Lakeside and 14 South Lakeside. Those properties do not have any current liens on them or violations except for the existing liens as they cross attach to those properties. So this settlement agreement is proposed to release those liens under the consideration for sale provision of the city's code. And if Your Honor, I think perhaps for the record, we can go ahead and have the parties enter their appearances so the record's complete as to who's here on behalf of the owner and the new buyer entity.
Go ahead and state your name and relationship to the case, please.
My name is Stuart Kapp. I'm with the law firm of Kapp Morrison LLP at 7900 Glades Road in Boca Raton, Florida. And we represent the current owner of the property, H.H. Gulfstream, whose principal is Carl DeSantis, who you may know from the community. And my colleague Lance Aker has also been working on this matter with us. And we have been working on it in a transaction that has evolved with a handoff to Laura, who will introduce herself on behalf of Restoration Harbor.
Okay.
My name is Laura Rebbe. My address is 4240 Manchester Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63110. And I'm here on behalf of Restoration St. Louis, who is the proposed participant, partner, joint venturer, pick your phrase, with the buyer listed under this agreement.
Okay, do you have an ownership interest? Does your client have an ownership interest, or is it
Yes, ownership?
the ones doing the general contract?
No, ownership interest.
Okay, so okay.
Yeah.
And I heard there was another joint proposed purchaser.
I think, Your Honor, for some clarification, Mr. Kapp, I believe, is representing the current owner of the properties.
Correct.
Ms. Reby is representing an interested buyer. They're working together to perhaps develop a purchase and sale agreement, which may end up being a joint venture agreement.
So the joint venture is not done yet.
Correct.
Okay, that's why I was asking if it sounded like there was another party. Thank you for clarifying that.
Correct.
Okay,
So,
and the joint venture would be between the current owner and the new proposed owner?
Yes.
Okay.
yes. So the reason why we're proceeding today to get this done is so that we can move quickly and efficiently once they get that purchase agreement together, however it's going to be, whether it's a joint venture or a true purchase and sale agreement. This agreement will be in place, and so we can proceed under this agreement.
And the good news is that I heard that there were no liens on either of the properties, and there was no pending violations.
That's correct. On the associated properties, there's no pending code violations. That's the two properties on South Lakeside. On Lake Avenue, there are pending violations, and that's where the code liens originated from. And I saw Krista Simmons raised her hand.
Yes, the one code case 10-1954 is on 12 South Lakeside. There's no open violations, but the actual lien is
Thank you.
on 12 South Lakeside.
Okay, so 12,000 is one of the sounds like that. Isn't that one of the parcels that is part of the sale?
Yes, the sale involves 3 parcels, 1 Lake Avenue, 12 and 14 South Lakeside Drive.
Okay, but that 12-1 has a violation running.
It has a lien, but no current violations.
So it has been remedied. So just the lien, that's it. It has been
Correct.
complied with. Okay,
Correct. And
so
thank you
that's
for
the
that.
lien.
Yes.
Okay.
So under the city's code for considerations of sale, it's unique because normally, we don't enter agreements when there's pending code violations to reduce or waive a lien. But in this case, consideration for sale under the city's code allow for us to do exactly what we're doing here today and what we're proposing to you. As I mentioned, we want to be able to move efficiently and effectively with these two as they work on their purchase and sale agreement to see this property get into new hands and be redeveloped.
And I guess that is the course of action that the proposed owner and envisioning that joint venture is intending to include payment of the lien, or is the city requesting for the lien to be removed altogether to facilitate the purchase? Which of the two?
The latter.
Yes, Your Honor. The latter, Your Honor, the rehabilitation of these properties are estimated to be between $65 to $80 million. The liens have currently accrued to just over $1 million. The pending code violations are not life safety violations. The property is currently secured property. There's no overgrowth, and trash and debris are being removed daily. So it complies with the requirements for the consideration for sale. The city recognizes the huge development potential this hotel will have in downtown Lake Worth Beach, and with the investment that the owner and buyer are willing to put into this property, that's the consideration for the city to waive the entire lien amount that's currently accrued to just over $1 million. I did, just before this hearing, provide you with a draft copy of the settlement agreement.
Go ahead
And
and take a look.
Certain you haven't had time to look at it, but it does provide some substantial background on the city's efforts to have this property redeveloped. There was a prior consideration for sale agreement entered in 2014 between the city and a prior developer. That agreement resulted in the prior developer paying off all of the city's administrative costs for its liens. But that prior developer did not accomplish all the requirements of that agreement. So that agreement terminated by its terms with the liens remaining on the property. This agreement is proposing to waive all of the liens based on the substantial investment in the property. And based on the parties entering their purchase and sale agreement within 4 months of today's hearing. Upon receiving that purchase and sale agreement, the city will issue the release of liens if this agreement is approved today for them to utilize at closing on the properties and any financing that may be necessary or not. So that's what we are proposing. The city has been working closely with the current owner and the proposed joint venture representatives to see this redevelopment come to be. And the city is very interested in pursuing this now, knowing that there's no life safety violations at issue, that these folks have the financial backing and the experience to redevelop the Gulfstream Hotel. And the city's and its residents' interest in seeing this hotel brought back to life.
Okay, great. For purposes of me, it's like I like hearing that it was just a matter that there is no code violation, which for me is the big issue. The money's part, that's the city's prerogative to to address whichever. Okay, so I heard from Mr. Cap, there is an agreement with the current owner to engage into this agreement as stated.
So thank you for your time, Your Honor. Thank you for serving. We're transactional lawyers, so this for us is something that's unusual. So it's a bit of a treat, even though I wasn't really dressed for the occasion, but that's okay. Our owner is a very substantial high net worth individual who purchased an investment interest with another operator who was not as skilled as they represented that they would be. In order to move the project forward, bought out that other operator. And we have enjoyed a very good relationship with Restoration St. Louis. As you can imagine that during pandemic times and the off travel schedule, that is, or non-existent travel schedules, obtaining the wherewithal, the financial funding and financing and wherewithal to go ahead and do a development like this has been very, very difficult. As a result of Restoration St. Louis being a contract purchaser, we went ahead and are engaging in a possible joint venture where we'll contribute the property to a joint venture and will alleviate some of the burdens that they would have as otherwise financing the property. Mr. DeSantis, as the principal of this, is an owner of substantial amounts of real property in and around South Florida. We've represented him for 20 years in many of these acquisitions and financings. So this has been necessary so that we can move forward in this venture. And that's why the city's giving us the time to put it all together. Like I said, it's a very difficult time to be pursuing this. But our principal, in conjunction with Restoration St. Louis, is undertaking that. And so we hope to be back to present to the city really the form of purchase agreement or maybe memorandum of joint venture, because we may be, there's a lot of technicalities and tax reasons about how you structure these things, but the essence is to move forward in a project is what we're trying to accomplish.
So if what I'm hearing is that the current owner is in agreement with what has been stated by Ms. Godot,
Yes.
As being the proposed settlement?
Yes.
Okay, what about the proposed buyer, AKA joint venture? Are you in agreement with the settlement terms?
Absolutely.
Okay. Before I go ahead and do my thing here, do we have anybody here from the public that has any input or comments that they want to make in regards to this case? And it has to be tightly related to this case. Not complaining about the city or,
I have not received any at this time.
okay, great. Well, I
And you're-
figured I'd open it up to a public comment at this time, given that there is none.
Your Honor, just for
yes.
the record, I have received fully signed and executed versions of the settlement agreement from the buyer and the potential buyer and the owner. Thank you.
Fantastic. Based on the evidence presented and the agreement between the parties and the public having had an opportunity to go ahead and make any input regarding comments, none having been made, and this being actually a fantastic opportunity for the city, I hereby bless this stipulation. The settlement agreement is hereby approved.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. Is this the only case we have today? Or did we
That's
have-
it.
Okay, well, great. Well, thank you all. Good luck to all you guys. Best of luck to this new joint venture. I'm looking forward to visit this new hotel in the near future. Thank you all.
Thank
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.